Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is a bonus episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in one, two, three galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is Sunday, April the 14th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, we have something very important to talk about today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about going from the shadows to success, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, what do I mean by going in the shadows? Have you ever, if you know, to be successful, you have to stand out. In order to be successful, you have to step up, step out, and say, "Hey, world, here I am. I'm I'm successful. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do the things that are necessary to be successful." I'll give you a great example. I had a conversation with my brother about a month ago. He has a job. He works at a warehouse. They wanted my brother to be they wanted my brother to be a safety supervisor. Okay. The job, it did not pay anything extra, but it's not about the pay. It's about the long game. Okay. It's about the prestige. It's about the title. It's about, hey, this is a step in the right direction, because me and my brother, we had this argument. I talk to my brother maybe once every 2 or 3 months on the phone, and we get into the same argument every time we speak on the phone. My brother, he wants to make $1 million, but he wants to work for somebody else, and he doesn't want any titles, he doesn't want any prestige, he doesn't want any responsibility, but yet he thinks he's gonna make $1 million by sitting on a forklift all day, and he thinks he should be paid $1 million, which to me is asinine. It's insane. It's insanity. It's a stupid way to think, but it's the way he thinks. And for if you have them same kind of thoughts, then I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm going ahead and break the bad news to you. You will never succeed. You will never move up. You will never make the money that you deserve. You're never gonna make the money you want to make. Okay, that is a classic mistake. People thinking, yeah, it. They having this big debate in California, I believe. All people that work at McDonald's should make $20 an hour. Whether they should or shouldn't, it has nothing to do with anything. What you want to do in life is step out of the shadows, become step out and become successful. And that can lead to you can make all the money that you want to make. There's not a limitation on the money you can make. There's not a limitation on money. Money's available for all of us. Money's available for each and every one of us. Like I told you before, don't have to necessarily become a billionaire, but you want to make as much money as possible, because, as I told my brother before, I had this conversation with my cousin the other day. You know, we most the people I know, the people I grew up with, most of them, they worked blue collar jobs. And there's nothing wrong. Whatever you do for work is whatever. But when you figure it out and you go, there's a shelf life to manual labor, and you figure that out, and you say, I got to do something to start making some money. I got to do something to start making more money. I got to do something that can, when you decide to call it quits, when you say, hey, I've had enough of this. I had enough of this job. I've had enough of this, these people. I've had enough. You want to be able to look and say, hey, I've been making money doing XYZ, whether it be the internet, whether it be you selling, chairs, no matter what it is. You want to step out and you want to step out and you want to start gaining success for yourself. The more you bet on yourself, the better off you will be. There's not a job. There's none of that that's gonna really lead you to where you want to go. And you could say, you know, me and you are not gonna be the CEO of Coca-Cola. Okay, it's just a fact. It's just a fact of life. We are not gonna be the CEO of Coke. We are not gonna be this president. We're not gonna become the president of Walmart. Okay, this is just not gonna happen. So you and I, we have to go a different route to success. And as I told you, success does not mean, because there are a lot of people that make a lot of money. There's doctors that make a lot of money and they have a lot of debt. You want to be successful. You want to be in a position where you can say, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to take off here. I want to take off there. You want to be able to do what you want to do. You want to be able to say, hey, not, and you don't have to be, gross about it. You don't have to be, but you want to be like, hey, no, I, every now, one of the best feelings you can ever have, if you, it was one time I remember I saved up some money, and I had been saving up money, and it was one week. I just not, I was did not want to drive the truck. I did not want to drive. I just refused. I said, you know what? I am not doing it. And for a week, I just took off. I knew I had money. I said, you know what? I'm not doing it. I stay home. Well, she's my girlfriend at the time. Stay home with her. I said, I am not going anywhere. I did not care at all. They called me on the phone. I said, I'm gonna call them next Monday. Call them back on next Monday. They was pissed. I said, they'll be okay. They'll get over it. I really did not care. And one thing that I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. You know, when you realize there's something that you're like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. Stop, start immediately. Figure out, okay, what can I do? Write stuff down and say, hey, I want to start right now. The thing about me, I'm gonna give you an example. I stayed in the shadows too long. I did not. I got I started truck driving in 2004, 2005, something like that. 2004, yeah, about 2004. Started driving then. Okay. I did not want to go over the road. I did not want any part of that, but I had to eventually. I gave in, and I would say, um, I was about I stayed about 10. I stayed about 5 years later than what I should have. It's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. I can only blame myself. I stayed 5 years too long, because I thought, what can I do? What do I got to do to get out of here? I thought there was some type of formula. There's some type of plan, but there's no formula. There's no plan. All you have to do is say, you tell yourself, you say, self, I'm getting out of here. There's a book. There's a book that I read by a guy named Joe Vitale. It's called Money Loves Speed. Okay, and you will be amazed. I read that book a couple times. I listened to it a couple times, and it just talks about different things that you can do to make money. And when you start changing your thoughts, and you start changing your mind, and you go, you know what, I can do this, I can do that, I can make money here, I can make money there. To really get down the road, if there's something you're tired of a job, you're tired of whatever, you're tired of your situation, you're tired of living in an apartment, you want a house, whatever. You want to start, you want to feel like, hey, I want to be more successful. And success is not defined by anybody. It's not defined by me. It's not defined by you. It is what you make out of it. What do you want to do? If you're somebody who says, hey, I want to buy a house out in the country somewhere, and I want to live there, and I want to farm, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and you say that's a success to you, then by all means, go do that. If you want to live in Manhattan, if you want to spend $5,000 on a one bedroom apartment, living in Manhattan, and you say that's a success to you, God bless you. Do that. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you hanging back. I don't want you to have the attitude of my brother. I don't want you to say, let me wait on somebody to take care of me. Let me wait on somebody to give me what I need. Take take what you need. Take what you can get. You know, step out of them shadows and become successful, in your own right, in your own way, the more that you control, the more that you do for yourself, the more that you control your destiny, the more mature you are, the better off you will be. Do not wait, do not do not hesitate, do not wait around on people to define you, to give you a success. It's not a magic wand, it's not a hey, boop, you know, there it's like somebody who's been an actor for 10 years, they've been acting for 10 years, and all of a sudden somebody pulls up in the Greyhound, and then they go to Hollywood, and all of a sudden, a year later, they're doing box office movies. I'm sure somebody that's been acting for 10 years is like, hey, what about me? And it's like, it doesn't happen that way. It it's what you can do, you can't control. Sometimes, you want to be an actor. You might be a great actor, but maybe you don't have the box office cachet, and that's okay. But you're still an actor. You're still acting. You're doing movies. You're in supporting roles. You do it that way, but it doesn't matter because you're acting. Okay, and so success. There's not a formula. There's not a hey. Let me take 6 steps. If you want to say today is my day. I listened to this book. I listened to this audio book about Jim Rohn, and it's like the day my life turned around. And he talks about how he didn't have any money for Girl Scout cookies, and he did not want to. He did not want to. He did not want to live life like that. And for me, I remember when I was getting married, and I thought about my wife, and I enjoy spending time with my wife, and I love seeing my wife, and even more, So now, I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and it gives me great joy to spend time with her, and it really drove the point home to like, all right, you know, because me and my wife and my daughter, we have plans, and I'm like, I'm gonna speed up these plans because we all want to. Me and my wife, we're gonna buy an RV, and me and my wife and my daughter. My daughter doesn't know it yet, of course, because she's 2.5. But we are gonna get in the RV, and we're gonna drive around America. Now my wife, this is my wife's idea. I've driven around America and got paid for it, but my wife, she says she wants to drive around America, which I believe she does. It'll be a good trip. Now, are we going to do it for a year straight? Of course not. My wife can't handle that. I can't even handle that at this point. But we're gonna take trips from time to time in the RV, and I'm gonna be home for that, and I'm going to work out of the RV, and I'm going to do what I want to do because I decided, hey, I'm going to step out of the shadow, and I want that for you as well. I want you to really think about what you want to do. Really think, say, hey, write, you know, success. Write down what would make you feel like a success. And I don't care. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't worry about people. Do not worry about your friends. Do not worry about your family. At the end of the day, the only person that you are going to please is yourself, okay? And the more you are pleased with yourself, the more it radiates towards others, The happier you are, the happier you can make other people. If you're not happy, if you're kind of miserable, you're not going to make people around you happy. Trust and you believe you me. It's not that you're trying to be miserable on purpose. It's not that you're trying to be sad on purpose. It's just something that, you know, people you can see people when they're happy. You can feel the glow. You can feel the energy. You want to make you do what you think is best to gain success. And you it doesn't take a whole lot. All it takes is say, hey, let me what what can I do? What should I do? And and start immediately. Don't wait. Don't. You can read the books. You can listen to books. You can turn your car into a educational a university. But as we talked about before, whatever you learn, apply it. Don't learn a bunch of stuff and don't do anything about it. Learn and apply. Learn and apply and learn. You know, you can teach people and you can also be taught. There's nothing wrong with that. I was listening to this program the other day, and the guy was talking about writing better copy and who your audience is and this and that. And I heard a voice that I'm familiar with. Is a lady I took a class of hers once about marketing, and I thought that's cool. She teaches people, but she also gets taught. Okay, and I thought that's cool, and that's where you want to be. You want to be learning, you want to be applying, but at the same time, you can also teach people. There's nothing wrong with that. But the main thing, the most important thing of this episode is to say, hey, this is where I want to go. You step out, come from the shadows. Listen, I remember when I was a kid and when it was time to read, it wasn't I couldn't read. I could read pretty well, but I think it was the fact of, there were some peers of mine who always seemed to struggle with reading. And I kind of felt bad, and I was like, I don't really want to be reading in front of them. They don't read that. They're not the greatest readers in the world. And so I never wanted to get called on because I always felt like I don't want to seem like I'm showing off. But it's like it's one of the dumbest things. And as I told you before, I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to always tell me, nobody likes to show off. But being successful is not showing off. Being successful is just being successful. If you see somebody in your neighborhood and they're successful and you have a negative feeling towards them, then you're the problem, not them. No, people are gonna buy. You want to buy a nice car, not because now you and I, would you spend $100,000 on a car? I would not, but I would buy a car that I know is good. I know a car that is steady. I would buy a newer car. I wouldn't go out and buy a 1979 car unless it's one of those, kind of fancy, cars. But I wouldn't go buy a 1979 clunker, you know what I'm saying? But if it was refurbished, it was new, if it was, then that's different. But if you see somebody and they're successful and you're not, and you like, then change that attitude and you become successful. It doesn't matter, you know, you see people online. I remember I got into a phase where I was watching, like these scamming, like people scamming videos. And it's like, hey, you know deep down if somebody is legit or somebody is not legit. All you have to do before you make a purchase, study the people, study what they're doing, study where they're going. And if they're talking about something that they don't know anything about, then why buy it? It's just the way it is. Do your research, of course, but don't worry about other people. Worry about yourself. And become the success that you desire. It is all right there for you. It is all right there. All you have to do is reach out, grab it, become successful, and then you too can go out and buy. I haven't bought the RV yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my wife driving me around. No, I'm gonna have to do all the driving when it comes to RV. My wife is gonna be trying to look and take a bunch of pictures. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this episode. Step out of them shadows and become a success. Become what you want to desire. Now, this week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about money in every episode, okay? So, for you greedy people, tune in. For you non-greedy people, tune in. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about making money. We're going to talk about spending money to make more money. We're going to talk about the attitude of money. We're gonna talk about the desire of having more money. It's gonna be a money week. Money week, everybody, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, that is it. This is it for the episode. We'll be back Monday with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rosano. Thank you for listening. God bless. And as always, everybody, peace.